and then we go to live stream on Facebook. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. Really, really appreciate you being here today. Today is a special day. Today is a special day. Today is actually 1/25/25. It's my friend Annie's birthday, and I'm like, oh wow, 1/25/25. So Annie, wherever you're listening, if you're listening to the replay, happy birthday. She's been one of our guests much earlier last year. So welcome everyone. Thank you so much for coming. My name is Marian Amwa, and I am the author of Breaking Through. This is the book, The Immigrant's Handbook for Thriving in the American Workplace. Whenever I say the title, I give myself a little bit of a pause because I believe that the concepts described here, discussed here, talked about in this book can be applied in the American workplace, Ghanaian workplace, UK, wherever you find yourself. I believe that they are timeless and priceless principles. So welcome everyone. We'll be having our conversation on that. Today, like I said, is 1/25/25. Okay, for those of us in the US. For those in the UK and other places, is 25/1/2025. Our guest Aduma is joining us from the UK, so I'm being mindful of that. Thank you. Today I have two incredible women. One is a mentor and one is a mentee. But before I continue, like I said, I will be your hostess. I'll be your facilitator. Please, if you have any questions, put them in Facebook in the chat or here on Zoom, and we will answer any questions that you have. And if Geraldine or Aduma says something that is really, really, we call it Jerryism or Adumaism, a nugget, it's an aha for you. Please put it in the chat. Let's have an interactive session. But before we continue, once again, thank you all so much for joining from wherever you are. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. I see you, Abi Ev, I see you, Angela, Farah, Ishmael, Kwesi, Phyllis, Virgil, thank you all so much. And I know that there are some folks who have joined us on Facebook. Yes, so unlocking potential through mentorship. I believe that was our title for today. That's our title for today. Last week, I'll just do a quick recap. 2 weeks ago, we had Dr. Deborah Perez and Debbie Boye here, and they grounded us in what mentoring is. And some of the things Deborah said was that if you don't have an objective or an agenda for a mentoring relationship, it's just a chat. You're just having a conversation. One of the truisms that she dropped out was listen to understand. Have specific objectives for your relationship, the mentoring relationship, right? And she gave us 10 reasons. And as we go along today, I'll be sharing some of them. One is the mentor provides guidance and support. The other is skill development, but I'll be sharing some of these top 10 reasons as we go along. Geraldine has been here before, but I'll still ask her to introduce herself, and she's here with her mentee. If I may say a quick thing about Geraldine, I've known Geraldine for many moons. She's a very smart lady, incredible. I call her one of the best. If you need somebody to encourage you, Geraldine is the go-to person. She will encourage you. And so she was my classmate many years ago. And then Aduma is actually one of our classmates' daughter. So I have two generations here. So excited to have her. She's joining us from London. But Geraldine, you know the grill, the usual style. We will ask you to introduce yourself, one fun fact about yourself, and the same for you, Aduma. So welcome, ladies, and please help me to welcome our incredible ladies. I promise you, it's going to be a wonderful conversation. Welcome, Geraldine. Welcome, Aduma.
Thank you, Marianne, and it's always a joy to be on your program. And thank you for the opportunity. And you've always opened your door of your professional door to me And I've learned a lot through the journey, introducing me to some of the people in your circle of influence and networking with them, especially Deborah, who came last week. So thank you for this opportunity. My name is Geraldine Mensah-Dartey, and I'm not here to talk about my real work I do, but what I love to do. And I'm in data and analytics. I live in Columbus, Ohio. I've been doing mentoring for about 28 years. Adoma is one of the many mentees that I mentor. And I'm happy to say that I've been on this journey with my whole family. And I would say that I developed this relationship or got onto this track because of my parents, especially my mother. I've seen her, and I've had two siblings on the line today. Phyllis and Virgil, thank you for being here. And we watched our mother mentor young women from asking for money every morning to giving them a pan of bread, full of bread, or 5 crates of eggs to go and sell and use that as their capital. And then they become business women years down the road, and inviting them to Bible study, nurturing them from beginning, and then letting them become active church members. So mentoring is something that I have grown up with and I've enjoyed. I've seen my brother preach in the pulpit, people, my sister mentor other people. So it's my life and I love doing it. And I'm sure Adoma will talk about that later. But here I am and I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. Wow, 28 years. And I'm glad you said it was modeled for you by your mother. So well done, Mom. Well, Adoma, can you please introduce yourself?
Hi, yeah. Hi, I'm Adoma Ajay. And well, I just realized I said that in such the most English way, but as in when I am called Adoma Ajay, basically. That's what my parents call me. So I moved to the UK when I was 6, from Ghana, and that really kind of begun like everything in terms of how I led me to the events that brought me here today. So I studied maths and econ at uni, and through that is where I kind of developed an interest in data analytics, which is what brought me into Geraldine's path. Currently, right now, I'm a pricing analyst and I work in London. And I would say that a fun fact about myself is that I love to play badminton, and also that it's one of my goals to travel to 30 countries by the time that I'm 30. So currently at 10 countries at the moment. So hopefully I'll get there in time.
Very good. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I hear one thing in common. Both of you are in the data analytics area, right?
Mhm.
Okay, very good. So one thing, at least in career, the two of you are sharing one thing. Can you tell me when and how this your mentoring relationship began?
All right, I think I'll start. So I told you I've been in this path for a long time, and one day a friend of ours, my sister and I were on a program which was advertised on one of the Ghanaian media. I think it was in a newspaper, and a friend shared it on our Wesley Girls platform. And so Adoma's mother was a classmate with me, Marianne, and some others. And everybody congratulated me, asked me questions. And so her mother reached out to me and said she really wants to understand what I do and how I can be of help to her family. So we set a time and we met. And she told me about Adoma, how Adoma is a math and economics major in second year in college. And Adoma has so many questions that Olive cannot answer, but she thinks I could try and see whether I could help her. And so I had a time with Adoma, and she had a ton of questions. She knew where she was, she knew where she wanted to be, and then she wanted a break. And so I realized, oh, this will be something that I could do. So I spoke to her, and the light bulb just came on, and she said, I want to do it. And so that was how we started a relationship. And it's been about the year before COVID. So we've been on this for about 6, 7 years.
Oh, wow. You've been okay. So that's your side of the story. Adoma, do you agree with the story, or do you have another version of the story?
No, it's pretty much the same. It was during COVID, and I found out COVID really allowed me to really take some time to really think, and I realized how confused I was in terms of where I was going or where I was heading. And yeah, my mom was like, I don't know how to help you, but I know someone who can help you. And that's when she put me into touch with Geraldine. So that's how it all began.
Okay, great. Now, can you just share, give us introduce us into the journey, take us along. What was your first conversation like?
Should I start?
Yes, I want you to start.
So I'd say our first conversation was refreshing. I think that's how I would start. I kind of went into it quite skeptical at first because I was just so used to being independent, as in if I was confused or anything, I strive to try and answer the questions by myself. So kind of leaving it into the hands of someone else was what made me a bit skeptical at first. But I remember our first session was really clear for me. It was like a foggy windscreen being cleared with each question that was being answered. I came in with so many questions, and I feel like I walked away from our first session with a bit with direction, or at least where to start. And I was just really confident after our first session. And I just thought, if I feel this way after all this confusion, this is something that I would like to continue to see what else it can provide me, or whether there'll be surprises along the way. I quite like the fact that I would have that support.
Wow. So he said when you went in, it felt like a foggy windscreen.
Yeah.
Right? And you felt confident after the first session.
Yeah.
Can you give me what exactly made you feel confident? What did she say or do, or what was it about it that cleared the fogginess for you after the very first session?
I think it was her letting me know that how I was feeling, all this worried about which direction I was headed. She made me feel that it was perfectly normal, and that there is a path and there's a way, just to allow myself to just think clearly. And just she made me feel that she would be that support for me. And yeah, it was just making me feel that how I was feeling was normal. And I think that was like a great start.
Wow, wow. Thank you, Adoma. She made me feel perfectly normal. Thank you. That was, and then that she was going to be there to support me. That's great. How about you, Gerald? What was the first mentoring session like? How did you feel? Did you also go? I mean, you had been a mentor with experience, but did you go in with that fogginess? Just give us a little insight.
Thank you. Great question. So I'm so used to, because I have many other mentees, I was so used to how she was feeling. She had a ton of questions, which was extraordinary. And a lot of mentees don't speak the first session, but Adoma was very vocal. She wanted to know exactly how I was going to solve her problems. So she wanted me to set clear expectations of how I was going to do it. And so that also gave me the opportunity to actually be serious about it. Oh, this is a serious one, you know. And also, I saw that Adoma was too hard on herself. And I wanted to come to her from a place of grace. So I kept telling her that, you know, I understand that your questions, I understand how you feel at this time, confused and everything. But you know what? Give yourself some credit. And that credit is for you to even be here talking to me. So I gave her the assurance. And I think that also cleared the confusion that she had initially. And then I also told her that I will be there and I will be consistent. I will be a good listener to you. And I will set that clear expectations that you're looking for, establish goals. And then I also came in with an idea that, listen, you play this role and I'll play that role. And then this is where we're going to meet. And I also told her that we're going to go through this with me not having all the answers, but we're going to create the answers to the problems together. So I told her we're going to be more collaborative, and I wanted her to be more the relationship is going to be more participatory. I learned that from my brother, who is on the call now. He likes to say participatory things. He says, let's do it in a participatory way. And I learned that, and I took that to Adoma. And I think that sets a good ball rolling for us. So solving the problem she had, not from Geraldine's way, but Adoma and Geraldine's together, like a composite way of doing it.
Okay, can somebody put in the chat participatory way of doing this mentoring? It didn't come at it as Geraldine has all the answers. And there was a word that I would use, that you were co-creating solutions, co-creating. Okay, so let me read something here, but you've said a lot of things. You've said a lot of, I hope folks are getting the Adomaisms and the Jerryisms, because said support. I didn't come in as Geraldine is going to do it, or we are going to do it together. Adoma was hard on herself. I had experience, and so I was also bringing that into this relationship. So this conversation is actually based in part on chapter 4 of my book, Have an Ally, and I'll just read. As you all know, our conversations, most of it is based on breaking through. Bob Proctor says, a mentor is someone who sees more talent and ability within you than you see in yourself and helps bring it out. A mentor is someone who sees more talent and ability within you than you see in yourself and helps bring it out of you. Is that right, Adoma? Would you say yes?
Yes, definitely.
Definitely. Okay. So Geraldine said, you said you wanted support, and Geraldine, yes, was there and was there to, give you that assurance. And Geraldine, there's something else you said about listen. Two weeks ago, when we had the Rejoy here, one of the things she said was listen to understand. You're not listening to rebuff, listening to state your point, but you're listening to understand. Okay, so that's very good that you're also reiterating that fact. Were there any surprises at all when you started? Spill the beans.
Adoma, you want to go first?
Did you say you wouldn't, were there any surprises? Not in the first one, maybe second or third, or it just been smooth sailing?
No. So
I would say that
go ahead, Adoma.
I'd say that with like surprises, like you mentioned this before, it's not just a chat. It's like work has to be put in order to take away, like, from each session what you've taken away. You have to work on that, and that does require work. And it's something that surprised me. It was a nice surprise because I think it helped with consistency as well. So every single time we're going back and discussing, oh, this is what we discussed last time, and this is how I actioned it at work, or this is what I did, or this is how I went about it. It's just more being consistent. And yeah, I don't know whether that's a surprise, but it's just something that I realized with mentoring. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. So Adama is saying there was consistency. It wasn't just a chat. Deborah also said that last time, that if you're just meeting for meeting's sake, it's a chat, it's a conversation. But he said there was consistency. You'd have the objectives. Did you do? Did you not do? Okay, great. Geraldine, anything to add? I almost said Mama Jerry. That's fine, Jerry. Go ahead.
So I don't think there were any surprises because I had the experience from different people, different mentees. But one thing that Adoma came to the table with was she was able to solve problems independently. When she came with a problem, she she had tried, and I would say most of the time she would have tried solving that problem herself. So she comes with part solved problems. And so when I brought in my guidance or my advice, it was very easy to just put the two together, or for her to see the other side of her solution. So if her solution was A and the best solution was B, which I brought, she would clearly see the difference. And then she would say it back to me and say, Geraldine, this is what I thought I should have done, but I see why I need to do it this way now. So a few mentees do that, but she was able to solve the problem. She had good problem solving skills, which enabled her to play an independent problem solver, and then also somebody who was ready to listen and get direction. So that made it special. So she wasn't only getting direction from me, she was also using her own way of solving the problem to make my direction even stronger. So if you've been in a bad place and somebody's taking you to a good place, you are able to adapt the new world better. So adoption for Adoma was easy.
Okay.
And it's not easy for most mentees. And if you're a mentor on this call, I want you to know that you meet different mentees and they come to the table with different way of solving problems. Listen to them and listen to the Adoma kind of mentee who's already tried to solve a problem in her own quiet way. And some people are very resistant to your direction. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. So with Adoma, she wasn't resistant, but she would let you know, this is how I thought it should have been solved. But hey, I hear you. And so I'm going to do that. So her way of adoption was very good and clear.
Wow. Okay. Let's unpack some of the things that you said. First of all, do the work. Mentoring and mentoring, whichever word you use, there is work involved. We hear that, do the work. So she almost always came prepared, and you also came prepared. Now, there's a question I want to ask you. I'm holding it because there's a question here. Someone asked, I think Dr. Ruth, who has been a guest before, said, did you have scheduled meetings? So Adoma talked about consistency. So mentors, mentees, that is one of the things you need to do. You have to have that consistency. But the question here is, did you have scheduled meetings? And
Yes,
how often? Maybe you can go into that.
Yes, we had scheduled meetings and we discussed. So our first meeting, we set expectations, and then we set goals. And part of the expectation was how often we're going to meet, the media of communication, and that was part of the scheduling. So I think we started meeting more often, like bi-weekly, so every other week. And then when she got comfortable with the direction and she got busy at school, we slowed it down. And then when it was getting close to internship interview, we came to weekly or maybe twice a week, so that she would be able to get ready, prepare for interviews and things like that. So we had scheduled meetings, which made it very good because then she would also plan her other activities along the mentoring
Okay.
process.
So remind folks again, how long have you been on this journey between you and Adoma?
Just before COVID. So from COVID, I would say 2020, Adama, I think so. Yeah. I don't remember the date, but from 2020, and it's been consistent till today. So last month.
Wow. And it's been consistent to today. That is really key. There is a question here from Abby. It says that, were there any, a question for Adoma, were there any aha moments along the way? If so, can you give an example? So the aha moment could be positive, negative, but I'm sure positive, any aha moments, and if you can give an example.
I think that aha moments was, well, mainly during our interview prep. We went through a lot of practice scenarios of how I'd answer some of the interview questions, and it was just more of what I learned from that, and what Geraldine taught me was just kind of how you see yourself, being able to project your voice so that people can hear you. There's no point saying all these good things if people can't, hear you. Like, you have to be like confident in yourself. And I think that was one of the aha moments for me. One thing she told me is that's like talking to yourself like in front of the mirror, just a way of just showing up for yourself and just being loud and confident in what you say and being sure in yourself. And like through all the practice and everything that we did and all the prep, when it did come to like doing these interviews, it would be a lot more easier for me. I'd realize that, oh, where I started being quiet or shy, now I was able to project myself, able to have these conversations and be clearer in how I presented myself. That was definitely an aha moment for me from our sessions.
Great, how you presented yourself, being confident. Thank you so much for answering that. So I have a question, another question, sort of. Your mom, Adoma, is Geraldine's classmate, and I guess you grew up sort of same school, maybe in the same area as well. Same university, same uni, as you say in Britain. Sometimes our kids are very skeptical when we bring our friends into the equation to help us. They're like, Mom, I want somebody neutral. How was it for you? So I think my question is gearing towards, how did you establish trust and open communication, given that level of a background? Unless you are a unique child who doesn't mind your parents introducing you to people, but a lot of us, our children are like, no, let me go find my own. And I'm sure there are people on this chat who attest to that. So if you can speak to that, or Geraldine, either of you.
I think that, like, as Geraldine mentioned, I try and solve things my way or look to solve it by myself. And once I hit a wall, I kind of my mom knows I'm quite vocal to her about it, and she's all about like helping me. And so when she was like, oh, I have a friend, Geraldine, who's not interested, who's works in the same field, data analytics, that I'm interested in, I didn't really see that I wasn't skeptical. I just saw that as that's my mom's way of helping me. And in terms of that trust, it was more of one of the things that Geraldine made sure to let me know was that it was level of confidentiality that would be between the two of us. So I wasn't worried that, I just knew that this is like a separate relationship. This is me and Geraldine, it was nice of my mom, lovely of my mom, to bring her into my life as my mentor, but this is a separate thing. And I think that's what established that trust. And yeah.
I
And
really like that level of confidentiality and a separate relationship. Thank you. I think we'll send all our kids to come and talk to you. But I think, yeah, you make a very good point, knowing that there was that level of confidentiality and a separate relationship from yours with your mother's own. Geraldine, same question.
Mhm. So, yes, Adoma said exactly what I was going to say. I also have a daughter, and I know that my daughter wouldn't want me to mentor her or my friend because she feels we'll be talking about her behind her. But I came to the relationship with Adoma with one point, one strong point: respect and confidentiality. And I kept discussions private. I told her I will keep discussions private and respect her confidentiality. And I will ensure that so that she'll feel secure sharing personal and professional challenges with me. And her mom is on the call, so I know she would attest to this, that I would never come to her with anything that Adoma wouldn't want her to know. I expect Adoma to go to her mom. So when we are speaking and there are any challenges, and I think this is something that a parent should know, I will talk through it with her and say, Adoma, I think this is something that mom should know and share with her. And she'll be happy to know, and she'll be happy to be part of this problem solving. And she has done that. So I think that respect I brought to the table, and then letting her know, assuring her that, hey, everything you tell me is between you and I, created that safe haven for her to, yeah.
Wow. So good, so good, so good. Thank you. Those who are just joining us, I think, welcome, good evening, good afternoon, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. This is the conversation on mentoring, unlocking potential through mentorship. That's the title of today's session. I have Geraldine Mensah-Dartey and calling in, participating from Ohio and Columbus, Ohio, and Adoma Ejay from London, UK. So welcome everyone. And there's another question here. Thank you for what you just shared. There's a comment actually from Phyllis. It says safe place in addition to a mom. So wonderful. Thank you. I wrote private, confidentiality, and separate relationship. There's a question from Virgil that says, how can mentors support their mentees when they feel overwhelmed by the complexity of real world data problems? That's deep. How can mentors support their mentees when they feel overwhelmed by the complexity of real world data problems?
Okay, first then, for you to be an effective mentor, you have to let the mentee know that I'm going to be supportive of everything and I'm going to be encouraging you. And so that alone will let the mentee know that, well, my mentor is going to be there. She's going to be my anchor, and she's going to be somebody who will help me see things clearer, like Adoma said earlier. So when the mentee is overwhelmed, the environment you've created for this relationship will let the mentee come to you with the issues, the overwhelming situations that are going on. And so I don't know whether I'm answering this question right.
You
So
are.
this is going to establish the trust that the MNT will be able to come in and openly tell you what they're going through. And I said earlier that a mentor is not going to have all the answers. It's going to be a two-way thing. And then you're going to talk through it. And so once the mentee is confident and has trust and brings that the overwhelming situation to you, you're able to break it down. You break it down with them, not for them. So remember, with them. So when you're doing it with them, it's easier for them to understand where you're going because they feel like they're contributing to the solution. And so the feeling of being overwhelmed is toned down, it comes down. It's as if you're pouring cold water on something that is hot. And so gradually they see the pressure easing off, and then finally they see themselves having been part of the solution process to the end. And so that is how I've been able to help people, some of the mentees who are in that kind of. So Virgil, I don't know whether that is the answer you're expecting.
Yes, excellent. Thank you.
Yes, that is so deep, 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 deep. Can you show some love to both Geraldine and Adoma? This is the way you've answered this question. It's so deep, and it's the environment that you create, right? So creating from the very beginning that trusting environment, open communication, safe space. When the mentee is going through very overwhelming situation, they know that they can run to that safe haven. Very good. Adoma, do you want to add to it? Thank you so much, Mama Jerry. You've really broken this down. Adoma, do you want to add to it, or she said it all?
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
Sorry.
Yeah, I definitely agree with what Geraldine said in terms of just creating that safe space. I remember like she's been through a lot of my journey with me, but times where when I went to Canada for my semester abroad, I was faced with like new tasks, new challenges, etc. And I remember being extremely overwhelmed with the change in my environment and just the different things that I had to deal with. And I remember being able to approach Geraldine, and she really helped put a lens on the situation. And what she said about doing it with me, it's not like she's telling me what to do. It's very engaging. It's asking me questions like, what out of all the things that you're doing, what needs to be consistent, or what isn't a necessity, etc. Really kind of removing the cobwebs per se in my room, if that makes sense. Just
that makes sense
for me.
So I think you're also highlighting with me, co-creation. Very, very good. There's a comment here that let me quickly read that comment. It says from Eunice, take ownership of thinking through team decision making. Fantastic. Fantastic. Okay. I think that my next question had to do with, okay, let's ask this one. So I guess, can you tell everyone and people who want to be mentors or have just started a mentoring or mentees, how do you ensure that the relationship is mutually beneficial and supportive over time? So I want to hear from you, Jerry. Because Adoma has talked a lot about how you've supported her in this journey. Can you also share how it's been mutually, beneficial to you?
Okay. So the first thing, regularly reviewing goals. So periodically, I revisit and update the goals of the mentoring relationship to ensure that they remain relevant to Adoma and are aligned with her needs and aspirations. That's number one. And open communication. So I maintain honest and open communication with her, regularly checking in with her, and then letting her know that you can call me anytime. Just WhatsApp me, and then if I'm in a meeting, I'll call you later to discuss. And then I check in all the time to discuss progress, challenges. If she talks about any challenges, I don't wait till our next meeting before I follow up. And any changes in expectations, we address that. I have feedback loop. So I've established a two-way feedback loop where we both can provide and receive constructive feedback. And this has helped with continuous improvement and addressing any issues promptly. So another thing is celebrating success. Adoma will tell you that every time she wants me to know what she has done at work, or she did a good presentation today in her project meeting, she wants to tell me, and it's because she knows that I will celebrate her success. So I acknowledge and celebrate milestones and achievement for her. If it's she's tomorrow, Friday, in a project meeting, we talk about it. And I'm always excited to know about it, and I follow up and celebrate her success. Sometimes it's not only the positive, even if it's negative. I appreciate you coming to me. Thank you for being vulnerable. You see, so those are very important. And then I stay engaged. I show genuine interest in her development and her well-being. She talked about Canada. When mom was looking for a place for her to stay because of the confusion with the school accommodation and things, I was with the process. I showed genuine interest, and we were doing it together with Olive and herself. I provide opportunities for her by when I hear of anything that young people are doing, or I manage a big team of people who are like her or older than her. And so when people are doing great things in the team, I share those experiences with her, not telling her exactly what is being done because it's confidential from the other side, but I let her know this is what is making people successful. So I provide opportunities. And I think it's a goal for me, for every mentee I have, to be a role model. Demonstrate the behavior and attitude that I wish to instill in them. So it's kind of like leading by example, which is key. And I would encourage any mentor here to make that a goal, be a role model. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so you said a lot, and everything you said, I've been typing it in the chat. Thank you so much. Role modeling, genuine interests, right? I'm wondering if you didn't know, okay, rephrase the same question, but if you know Adoma's mother, your classmates, do you apply the same approach to all your mentoring relationships?
Absolutely, I do that. So I have a cheat sheet for me, and this is for me. How can I make this journey, or how can I make sure that it's mutually beneficial? And Marianne, this question is something that's very good question, and it's one of the main things that I take care of as a mentor. I have about 7 of them, making sure that I go through this for everyone. The only reason I brought Adoma's mother in this because Adoma's mother is my classmate. But most of the time, our relationship doesn't always, we don't make reference to her mother. Sometimes I even forget that she's a daughter of a friend of mine. She's become more of a partner than a friend's daughter. So I do the same for all my mentees. I get to know them personally so that I'll be able to put myself in an equation they're managing and see how I can be of help. And that is mentoring. It's not only about, so I tell them one thing, do what matters most to you. And anything that is most difficult of it, let the mentor know. And I make sure that they feed me with that information, and I use that information to support them. So it becomes a fair playing ground for every mentee that I have.
Wow, I wanted to do the applaud, but I don't know whether it's applauding you. But I mean, this is so good, so good, so good. And then what I'm even hearing, I'm hearing your passion, hearing and seeing your passion. There's a question before we go to the next question. I think the next question, I'm looking at the time. You've talked about some of the projects you worked on, but if there's a specific project the two of you want to share, how you worked on it and how it turned out. You've talked about, I know Adoma, you've talked about when you're going for interviews, how I almost wanted to say auntie, but how Geraldine has prepared you for the interviews when you went on year abroad. But I want you to talk about a specific, if there's a specific project you've worked on together and that stands out to you, I would like you to talk about that. But I think there's a comment here. There are 2 comments. Oh, and maybe you've addressed one, but hold on, let me move. There's one comment that says, why do you mentor? If you want to take it again, but I feel like you've answered it. And then, so let me give you the 2 questions. I believe they are both to you. There's one, why do you mentor? And then the second question is, how do you manage to have difficult conversations with mentees efficiently? Oh, how do you manage to have difficult conversations with mentees efficiently without any offense? So you have 2 questions. Why do you mentor and how do you manage difficult conversations?
Okay, my favorite questions to answer. Thank you. So why do I mentor? It's a personal satisfaction. I have a great sense of accomplishment in helping people. And my 2 siblings on the call will attest to that. I love to see myself being part of the solution. So that great sense of accomplishment in helping someone to succeed is something that I love to do. Knowing that I have contributed to their progress and confidence and it helps me, have that confidence. And I love to see growth and development. I've watched my mentees. I have a few of them, and I have a particular one good example also in Uganda. That girl is fire. I've watched her grow, develop new skills, and like Adoma, and achieve their goals in incredibly fulfilling way. And that is rewarding to know that my guidance has made a positive impact on their journey. That is why I mentor. That is why. Just seeing that I'm part of that growth and development, it's everything. I can go to sleep every day and sleep for 17 hours, just knowing that that person that I'm pouring into has made it.
Wow. Personal satisfaction, part of the solution, contribute to growth. Wow. Very, very noble. Last 2 weeks ago when we were here, Deborah and Debbie said, everyone has something to offer. Everyone can be of value to someone behind you, or sometimes it's reverse mentoring. But thank you for saying that. And then how do you address difficult conversations? That's the other question. Thank you.
So thank you. I answered that partly before, but I'll say it again. So I create an environment that the mentee feels safe to speak to me. So I come to this relationship as a reliable person, somebody they can rely on. I'm reliable, I'm honest, and I'm transparent. So and then also anything we discuss, I respect you and I'm going to keep it confidential. So with those points, and then also one thing, I show empathy. So once I do that, I put those things together, those points together, that mentee feels confident and safe. So when they speak to me and then I give them a response, because I've created that stage for myself and for the mentee, they don't see a lot of things as negative because they have trust in me and they see me as that anchor. Now, when I'm answering or I'm addressing a situation, there are 3 ways that I use. Sometimes I'm direct based on how the person is. Sometimes I try to, be a little soft. So I'm agreeing with you in a way, and I will try to solve the problem, address it with you, giving you open-ended kind of response, and then you fill in the gap for me. And then, so I'm not the one giving the answer, it is you who is concluding. And so with a difficult situation two ways. If it's important, I come direct and I know you will not react. But then if you are somebody who is sensitive, I come with an open-ended way with gaps, and then you will help me fill the gaps. So at the end of the day, you are addressing that difficult situation partly yourself and then part from me. So I realize that people are not offended. And I let you know that, I'm here for you. And I'm here to make sure that you are safe, and I'll make sure that you are going to benefit. So anything I say, it's for your own good, but I want you to help me get there. So doing it together with them is how I address some of the difficult situations.
Oh my goodness, Jerry, you are so smart. She, well, in college, in high school, she was so smart, and the way, like somebody has put it, it says that, oh, it's not, where's my child? It says that, Jerry, your passion shows is infectious. Thank you. I like the way, so it's not one size fits all. The one size that you create that container of trust, safe space, environment. And then when addressing difficult situations or having those difficult conversations, knowing the mentee, you apply the right tool, let's say. So you're not using a hammer for every situation. Some will be a hammer, some might be glue, some might be whatever. Thank you so much for the way that you have answered it. I hope it's clear for I believe Phyllis. I'm not sure who asked that question. Okay, that's great. Do you want to talk about, oh, Phyllis, thank you for joining. Mama Jerry, and one project that you worked on that was, a breakthrough for both of you that you'd like to share.
Yeah, Adoma, if it's okay with you, I'll start so that I make it easier for you. So Adoma works in my industry. So that is an A+ for her, for me too. So from college, we had a different strategy. The moment we went through the interview process and then she got a job and she shared it with me and we celebrated and she started work, I changed my strategy with her. It became a professional relationship more than the regular university getting into. And she told me about a project that she's working on. So this is not a particular project, but the way we handled the project. So she kind of felt overwhelmed with presenting what she's done in her project team. I said, no problem. Your feeling is the same everywhere, but this is how you have to do it. We went through the process, and I don't want to go through the details, but I showed her the best way to present her project to the group or the board. And I gave her a template to help her, to guide her. She loved the template. She's been using it. And she said, oh, Geraldine, it made it easier for me now when I'm presenting a project in a project meeting. And that was a win for both of us. For me, it was more than a win-win because I've seen people at work present projects, and at the end of the day, we don't even know what they presented. I don't want Adoma to be that person. And so we talked about a template, we talked about a way to do it, and some of the ways for her to get buy-in from the leaders. So Adoma is getting that extra coaching from somebody who acts as her manager or her director. So I see myself as the same person she reports to at work, and also the same person her boss reports to. So she's getting the first-hand coaching about how to be successful at work. And I think she's doing it, and she's now happy presenting her project at work. And I always hear some great things that she's doing. And she's reaching out, Sheldon, how do I present this? And then I said, oh, do it like this, the way we talked about it. So Adoma, go ahead. I want to leave some time for you.
Yeah, just following up on that, I think part of what I learned, especially in terms of like a breakthrough, is that it was really important that the business side always understands what you're doing. It can kind of get lost in the technical jargon of it all. And that's one thing that Geraldine really pointed out to me, was how important it was to understand your stakeholders or the business side, and speaking to them really helped. She kind of taught me how to approach them, kind of see how they think or what they're looking for, so that when it comes to me presenting some of the work that we've done, or providing updates, it's in a way that they understand, where I can like bring them through the journey in a way that everyone is on the same page, and which really helped with just how smoothly the project ran. And even when we came across like, you know, blips here and there, it was fine, because just kind of sticking to the fundamentals that Geraldine provided in her template really helped. So yeah.
Wow, amazing, amazing, amazing. And I'm looking at the time. You know, you check off all the 10 reasons, top 10 reasons mentoring matters from Dr. Deborah Joy Perez: guidance and support, skill development, leadership growth, networking opportunities, increased confidence, career advancement, knowledge sharing, personal fulfillment, diverse perspectives, paying it forward. You check off every box and more. You know, just hearing that, giving Aduma a template, that is really, really, really amazing. There's somebody, Eunice said, wow, great job, Geraldine and Aduma. So if you were to sum up, I have 2 more questions. To sum up this relationship, I also want you, Jerry, to tell us what impact it's had on you, mentoring Aduma in particular. How it's unlocked potential for you as well, because we believe that the relationship is mutually beneficial. I'm sure you've learned some things along the way. And so if you were to sum it up in just a few words, what would that be? But let me say thank you to everyone who has joined. Thank you to everyone who is a mentor, and even those who are mentees. Thank you. This is National, here in America, January is National Mentoring Month. So thank you for all you do for your mentees and guiding them to the question. And then I'll have a last question for you. And if there's any question in the chat, we will answer.
Okay.
So I want Aduma to, okay.
Okay.
Take it.
Okay, no, go ahead. If you want Aduma, go ahead. Is that,
Sorry.
Marian, how do you want it?
It doesn't matter. Yeah. Sum up this mentoring relationship, how it has unlocked potential for you both in one way or the other, the impacts this particular relationship.
I'm happy to take the
Yes.
lead. I think for me, it's really provided an environment in which I can present and like share my problems. It helps me to feel lighter. It's kind of like sharing that burden or whatever like you're thinking is kind of like lightens your load. It really is like a partnership, so to say. And it's something that I know that I definitely couldn't have achieved this like level of growth without, you know, this mentorship. It's provided wisdom, and it's just like access to knowledge that, you know, isn't always easily like accessible, especially with how far Geraldine is like through her career. Just grateful to have access to someone who can really like hold my hand through my own career journey. That's really how I summarize this personal growth.
Wow, it's a partnership. It's a partnership. Thank you. Access to knowledge that you would otherwise not have had, right? By just Geraldine working with you, you know, the growth, the confidence. Thank you for sharing that, Geraldine.
So thank you, Adoma. That was great. Learning opportunity. Mentoring has created a lot of learning opportunities for me. I learned from my mentees. I have direct reports that are a little older than Adoma, and they go through the same thing that Adoma is going. And I learned from the British system that Adoma is in. And so I'm gaining fresh perspectives and new ideas and learning from some of the challenges and good things that Adoma is going through. And other mentees from different places are helping me to manage my team better. So gaining fresh perspective and new ideas. And then also, I get recognition. You know, I gain recognition and respect within the community that, oh, Geraldine, you did great to help this person. You did that. I've had emails from families in Uganda to say, thank you for helping my daughter win the pitch competition, things like that. And networking, it's expanded my network through my mentees connection. So people that are connected to my mentees have become, some of them have become part of my circle of influence. And that is really great for me.
Wow. I could listen to both of you all day, but as they say, all good things have an end. You know, time, if time wasn't an issue. Wonderful, wonderful relationship. Yes, all over the world. Geraldine is amazing. Adoma, thank you for sharing your journey. Now, parting words. What few parting words would you have? Why, Adoma, why, if you were talking to people your age or even younger or a little bit older, what would you tell them about getting a mentor? You know, I know yours is a little bit unique because your mom sort of found Geraldine for you, but how do you get a good mentor? Or maybe you can say why you need a mentor, how to get a good mentor, and how to build a relationship with your mentor. And Geraldine, you have the last word of, you know, talking to everyone has something to offer. Everyone has value they can share. If you can also talk to potential mentors, people who want to do it, but they are a little bit afraid to do it. So a few words, parting words from you, Adoma. And once again, thank you everyone for joining. Yes.
Thank you for having me. And I'd love to close off with saying that I think everyone, if everyone should go out and find a mentor, you can I feel like how I'd summarize it is that this is someone who has obviously has had like different experiences to you. And I think that is also an advantage in itself because they can provide different perspectives. They can warn you of anything that they have had to go through that you can avoid, lessons that you may not even need to learn for yourself because someone else has been through that. You know, I think that is also, that's one of the great things about mentorship. And I guess what I would say to people is that look at the people around you. For me, just talking to people, anyone can, I feel like you don't just need one mentor, like one, it's not one mentor, that's it, and that's your forever. You have people that take you through certain stages of your life. And that's just the journey of it all, from stepping stone to stepping stone. So, and one thing that I would say is that know what you want and be confident in what you want, and just be clear. Just go for it, and that, I mean, it's not a lose-lose situation. It's not a lose-lose situation to get a mentor. That's all. It's always a win-win. You know,
a win. Wonderful. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Good job. Good job. Thank you. Those are, go for it. It's always a win-win situation. Thank you so much, Adoma. Thank you. Now, Jerry.
Okay.
I'm seeing a lot of comments in the chat. Thank you, Geraldine and Adoma, for sharing your experience. Thank you. Great discussion and insight. Phyllis, be shameless about asking for help. Abby, hope we can also kudos to Aduma's mom for finding this perfect connection. Fantastic. Great. Jerry, you have the last word and I will sign off.
Okay, so before I read Marian's book, I knew one book by Marshall Goldsmith. It says, "What got you here won't get you there." And Marian's book just echoed that to a smaller community. What got you here will not get you there. So getting a mentor is not scientific, like Adoma said. There's no science about it. When you go to the mall, for example, there's always a sign, "You're here." And that sign, "You're here," is to tell you that this is where you are, and it's going to give you direction to other places that you want to be, different places. And when you get to those places, there'll be another sign which will say, "You are here." And so this is where it will give you direction. So I would encourage everyone, get someone who is a little bit more experienced than you, who knows a little bit more than you, knowledgeable, and get direction. It doesn't matter if you're a doctor, you're a lecturer, you're a teacher, you're a nurse, you are anything, you're a housewife, get direction. What got you to where you are today won't get you to where you may be tomorrow. There are people who are just gifted and they'll get there themselves. But you could become more successful if you get somebody to help you. And don't think that one mentor is going to get you to from beginning to the end. Sometimes you have to offload that mentor and pick a new one based on where the direction is going, based on where you are. And Adoma, you said it well. Bravo.
Wow, what a powerful duo. Honestly, I could listen to you all day long. My goodness, get directions. What got you here is not what is going to get you there. You'll stop for direction. Get mentors. And you said last time we talked about reverse mentoring. You said it, you didn't use the word, but find people who are more knowledgeable than you in a certain area. So when it comes to maybe technology or Instagram, sometimes it's the younger people who are more knowledgeable. Get mentoring. Find yourself a mentor. Thank you so much, Jerry and Adoma. This has been so insightful. Thank you, everyone, for joining. If you want to hear it again, you can go to Facebook or you can catch the replay on YouTube, Breaking Through Immigrant Voices. Please, I have only one ask. If you can sign on to subscribe to my YouTube channel and listen to it, pass it on to friends. These are real nuggets, life example of how mentorship can unlock potential. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Adoma. Next week, we may have a session. We are planning a session, continuation of emotional intelligence, how to have self-agency in these times. And so we will send out the information. But thank you, everyone, so much. Thank you to all my everyone who came, family, friends. Have a good day, good morning, good evening, and see you next time. Adoma and Jerry, we will have you again. We will have you again. Thank you so much for agreeing to come. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.